Devil's Island is so famous because of the intricacies of the sandstone formations. That's why most people come here and take the trip. There's very dynamic geological formations out there. There are like secret caverns and tunnels and just breathtaking arches around the whole north and east side of the island. And there's really many different ways to paddle through, so it's like a kayak playground out there.
The big thing, I think, is Lake Superior itself, is pretty unique. It's the largest freshwater lake in the world by surface area, and gives a great environment here.
We're a subsidiary of Apostle Islands Cruises, and last year they had 60,000 people come through and take their cruise tour. Well, the majority of the people on those cruises are there to get photos of Devil's Island. We spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours paddling around Devil's Island. So we circumnavigate about 90% of the island on our paddle, and we get to see all of those sea caves.
And with that, for a national lakeshore, it gets a fair number of visitors, but compared to other places, it's so spread out that when you're out in the islands, you often feel like you pretty much have the place to your own.
It's about a 50-minute boat ride out to Devil's Island. And once we get there, everybody gets their spray skirts and their life jackets on. And then the guides and deckhands facilitate people into the kayaks actually on the back deck there. So we have the grate down in the water right now to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. Devil's Island is by far the paragon of geologic wonder in the Apostle Islands. The other islands do have some geologic formations. However, it's nothing compared to Devil's Island because Devil's is 21 miles from where we're standing. So it's out there, it's exposed, and the wind and the waves just erode out the sandstone better than anywhere else in the Apostle Islands. So that's always the focal point of our trips is Devil's, and that's what makes this area so special. It's the best place to be. These are all guided trips. The Park Service has a regulation, and that is 1 guide per 6 customers. You have freedom when you're out there. The guide is escorting you along the shoreline, through the caves, encouraging engagement through all the little portholes on Devil's Island. But you're anywhere between 10 boat lengths to a boat length away from the guide at all times. No one's ever out of earshot. There's recreational vessels and cruise boats that go out there. So we stay pretty tight, and every group is kind of spaced out 50 to 100 yards.
And I'm one of the captains both for the Apostle Islands Cruises as well as for the Kayaking Express boat here. Originally, I grew up in southern Minnesota. I moved up to Bayfield area in 1996. Originally worked for a kayak outfitter, then moved to bigger boats and was a captain with the Maryland Island Ferry Line for 10 years. And I've been with this company for 2 years now. So I kind of ended up here because I started visiting friends in the early 90s, kayaking in the islands, and pretty soon fell in love with the area and found a way to make it work financially.
And then about 10,000 years ago, we had our last glaciation period. So basically, above us right now would have been 2 miles of ice sitting on all this. And all of that weight, all of that pressure, compacted all of the sand and made it super dense and basically made it into sandstone. And then when those same glaciers retreated, they kind of carved out all the islands, and then they melted, filled up the lakes, and yeah, now we have these beautiful islands with all this unique sandstone.
My favorite part about this is the operation itself, being able to facilitate bucket list experiences for people. I mean, it's so rewarding to see. I've had people come up to me in tears saying, we never thought we'd be able to do something like this. And that's the accessibility that this operation promotes, and facilitate engagement with it. It's really something neat to see. These people really appreciate it. It's about a 12-hour day for us, but I mean, this isn't the worst office in the world, so it's not like we're sitting behind a desk.